Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Michelle Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. It is Friday morning, it's 8 a.m., and we are here. I want to apologize to all of you who came in on Facebook this morning and expected to see Sharon, my guest, and I live. I have no idea what is happening with Google Chrome, and so I'm unable to bring it to you live this morning, but as soon as we're done, Felicia will make sure that you get this. So welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. If this is your first time, we are a platform that really reviews caregiving, aging in place, ageism, sexism, and life is a sacred journey. We believe that. And we try to bring guests that can share that experience with you through their own passion and purpose. And this morning, I have the honor of welcoming Sharon Rolph, and she is the Queen of Courage. I fell in love with that, Sharon, and Boomer's life coach. We as Boomers are now the last set of Boomers are coming into the age of over 65, but we are the largest generation yet. And so, we're changing, we're excited, we're involved in life. And Sharon is a life coach to help us to navigate that journey. For most of her life, Sharon felt invisible. And when retired, she wondered, how could she remain productive? And today she's a motivating influencer at 76 as an author, podcast guest, and the Queen of Courage on Instagram. Her days now feel right since she's finding her spark. This transformation she has experienced and offered to the public, meaning you and me. And she is one of those people that brings sparkle and passion and love and all the things that Life is a Sacred Journey is about to her life. And now she's bringing it to you as a guest here at Life is a Sacred Journey. Good morning, Sharon, and welcome again to our platform. I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate, one, that you're willing to call yourself the person of courage, because the Queen of Courage means a lot to me, and that you're 76 years old. And you'll love this. This is just to set you up for our conversation. I have been asked numerous times, and I've done it on Life is a Sacred Journey. I've had this conversation where, because I'm 66, going into 67, people, the first thing they ask me, hands down, I don't care who they are, the first thing they ask me when they meet me is, when are you going to retire? And then I start thinking, okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean they see a weakness in me or something where I'm not doing my best or whatever? Because I still feel vital and I feel engaged and I feel like I still have so much to give. And when I looked you up, you're saying that. You're saying you maybe move from one career, one space in your journey to another, and you learn to live in the passion of the moment. So tell us about your journey, Sharon. Share with us how you got where you are today.
Well, I'm going to start back in my teenage years because I had a kind of a curiosity that was kind of under the surface, but potential. Like, what's my potential? I wonder what my potential is. And now, when I was writing my book, Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment,
Wow.
I used a new book at the time. It had just been out a few months, What Retirees Want. And they said in there that there's 198 billion hours of free time.
Oh, wow.
For 65 per year.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, and only about 22% of retirees are in fact volunteering. But I see all those 198 billion hours of free time as potential, untapped potential. And that just really, I think, well, in fact, this week on my loneliness to resilience community that I do every Wednesday, we talked about knowing yourself.
Yes.
And that, you know, in our jobs, we're pretty much using our heads. You know, there's a lot of people that use their muscle and all this, but we get to live from our heart in retirement. Nobody tells us that. You just mentioned before we came on the air about your 9-month-old granddaughter. That opens something new to you. Well, living from your heart opens something new.
Mhm.
So I love helping people know themselves, because my process, in fact, takes what you love to do, what you your personal qualities, what's inside of you, your invisible assets. These are all invisible assets. Your values, your hot buttons, your aspirations, your guiding principles. Okay, one of my guiding principles is where there's a will, there's a way.
Thank you, Sharon.
My mom, I remember, she often said that when you give, it blesses the other person, but it also blesses you. We've lost that.
Yeah.
So I know I started bouncing off the wall 3-4 months into my retirement, because how do I know if I'm productive? And I hate wasting things.
Yeah.
So I had made my essence statement. Okay, the first thing they taught us in coaching school was writing our essence statement. And I made a wall hanging of it. You know, I like to make these little art blocks. I like to sew. Okay, here's how
wow.
sew. I love color. I love sewing, and I love words of wisdom.
I love that.
And this one says, worry is a misuse of imagination. Well, use your brain. Here's the assignment for your brain: is your ingenuity. Where's your creativity? And your intrinsic spark, your intrinsic motivation. Could also be called your effortless vitality. You know, what do you love to do that nobody has to pay you to do it? You would do whether you got paid or not. Well, that's one of the keys to knowing yourself. So anyway, so this week we actually talked about on my loneliness show what's important about knowing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You learn to accept who you are. Yeah. I like to say, when you discover, well, it's actually a way to define your soul, your DNA, your essence. It's all kind of talking about the same thing. They don't teach us how to define our soul. I can help you do that. And then you feel heaven on earth, because it feels so you can
love you, Sharon.
you can let go of self-doubt. Your confidence will
Yes.
improve. You'll make better life choices. Oh man, is that huge?
Yes.
Better life choices.
Yes.
You'll express yourself freely. I'm getting there. I'm taking off this invisible cloak, and being bolder.
Yeah, but being bolder too. And when you say, I love the invisible cloak, I love, effortless vitality. I wrote that down because I love that. Everything you've said is resonating with me. But that invisible cloak has had a lot of years of getting heavier and heavier throughout our lives, because I resonate when you said I felt invisible, and something about moving into this season of life, I don't feel as invisible, because the very thing that you just said, I know my worth, I know who I am, I know what I stand for. Isn't that, and that's like opening a window when you've burnt something in a pot that you're choking and you just need to get the fresh air flowing through. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I I actually chose to feel invisible as a very young child because I felt it would be safe. And I didn't realize until I read Vivek Murthy's book, Together, our Surgeon General,
Yep.
that he called feeling invisible a type of loneliness.
Wow.
News to me. And so it's just been since last year reading his book that I've started accepting maybe I have a huge potential that I haven't developed by having this vow of I just, head down, focus, be obedient, don't rock the boat because of the abuse in our home.
Mm.
And so many homes, families were dysfunctional. And I grew up in a Christian home, but there's the family secrets. My sister had a baby by my dad.
Mhm.
And so all that um, confusion about, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad because that was part of being safe.
That's right. That's right.
As friends move out of town, family members die. Um, there's all kinds of things that in fact, I read something last week about potential and having to do with losses in our life of having to keep readjusting even to when our body changes, you lose capabilities. I'm struggling right now with understanding accents. And
Okay.
I've heard that hearing aids can help me with that, but I use closed captioning a lot because I'm wanting to capture things that might help me capture things that my ears aren't catching right now.
Got
So
it.
that's a loss of some of our capabilities. But I have a nice sitting chair here next to me, and I've said many times if the most I can do is sit in that chair 24/7, you're still loved, you still have capabilities, you can still hear, you can still pray, you can still love, and there's still potential in you. And too often it seems like either we're just sitting or we're not courageous
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
take some magnify something that you still can do.
Yes. Yes. Talk about the word courage. I think that I one of my favorite movies. There's two versions that I mean. I love The Wizard of Oz, and then there's the version of The Wiz, which I saw on Broadway. It's just this beautiful, and the lion sings a song on both where he's speaking about courage. And we think of courage, and I love that that the author chose a lion for that character because anyone would look at the fierceness, which I actually see beauty in them, but it's all in the eye of the beholder. But the fierceness, physical fierceness, and how lions are usually portrayed, we see them eating and pouncing and doing. But yes, yes. But courage lacking in that, it's not something that's fearful. It's not something that comes in a force of lightning, but it is this transformation from I don't know. I describe. You know what? I think you know what I'm trying to say, Sharon. So help.
Well, yeah, there's so many things in on TV that in our insurance policies. Make sure don't take any risks. Be safe. Be safe. We want to protect you. Well, there's a healthiness about risk because it draws something out of us, and we're willing. Maybe it's your values are wrapped in that, but you know, I I've been I'm never married, so the whole idea of a man protecting me is still really new. But I was recently talking with someone, and the I was picking up on the desire to be a protector.
Hmm.
And there's a certain amount of the lion that's protecting its young, or it's protecting it's food source or something is important to them to risk and the juices that it draws out of us, the backbone. When one of the last podcasts I created was around courage. I was shocked. I asked maybe 8 or 10 people, who do you know that's courageous? And I just kind of got blank stares until I was introduced to Bob Nicholson. He's now probably about 90, but he was both very creative in all the careers that he did. I believe he accredits himself, I don't know if everybody does, but to starting some of the first senior centers for retirees. Yeah. And he was a conductor of some kind on trains and helping people get where they're going. And now he's a minister. I mean, he's just totally interesting, fascinating. Yeah. But so he came on and talked about courage with me. And that was kind of when I started, there's something wrong with this picture when we don't know courageous people. Yeah. We're missing something, Yeah. So let me tell you, I'm going to jump over to my essence statement to share with you. Yes, I don't want to waste time here. I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I'm tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires. I want to light everybody's fire, and I want to impact 10% of the boomers. So, in The Lion King, there's a line that says, "Have you forgotten who you are?" And in retirement, we forgot how courageous we were at 8 and 10 years old to do a lemonade stand out on the street, Right. Yeah. That's some of you. Have you forgotten what a dynamite debater you were, or maybe you can't run track anymore, but you could coach people to run track. Yes. So that's your invisible assets is what we now need to focus on, because that's still inside of you. Invisible assets. Oh my God. When you know yourself more, you'll have emotional intelligence. I am trying to stir up more and more on a daily basis, loving myself. And it seems like that's heaven on earth. All the scriptures that talk about that your joy may be full. Yeah. And how can I add more joy to my daily life, even doing the work that I'm doing? So self-compassion will come more easily. Next month, I'm going to be, my guest is talking about self-kindness. And so you'll know your worth. You'll being disliked won't bother you, Next, you're not my tribe, so move on. You'll overcome your fears. You'll form better relationships. Yeah. Your path in life, that potential of destiny opens up to you. So. And I love the word magic. I know a lot of people are afraid of that word, particularly people of faith. They get really weirded out. I am a person of faith, so I get it. But magic to me, I'm not speaking about that magic that they're worried about. I'm talking about the magic that what Sharon is referring to, that when you really embrace who you are, that you are this creation of life experience, of how you came here, because we didn't come here as empty shells. We came here with a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and then we grow into it. And then we have life experiences, some good, some bad, some really bad. But yet we get to a crescendo in our existence where, put it this way, my friends, Sharon and I, what we're saying to you is enjoy your life. Feel like this. Yesterday, Sharon, I don't know where you are in the United States, but
here in California and in Northern California, we had snow at lower levels, which, you know, it's very rare. Cold, yes, but not snow. And then it started to hail. So when did Michelle Pope decide to go outside to put her garbage receptacles at the curb? Because today is garbage day. Of course, in the middle of the hail. Okay, so I felt it a little bit. And then I realized when I looked down on the ground, I said, oh my gosh, it's hailing. But instead of running back into the house, because they weren't like big golf balls, they were little hail. And I got down on the ground and I scooped up some of it off of the lawn because it was building up there. And I looked at it and I thought, whoa, what a miracle. That's what we're talking about. Living in those moments where instead of being angry, because yes, I got soaking wet. My hair got wet, you know, and my robe, because I had clothes on, but I had my robe on top of it, soaking wet. But the experience was life changing. It was life changing, and it lives in my heart to this very moment. So that's what Sharon is talking about. She's talking about affirmations that I love the way she makes them. I'm going to steal that craft from her because that's amazing. And she's talking about the effortless vitality. But again, something else she just said, my friends, and oh, yes.
I'm especially fond of you.
Oh
God.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. How do people find you, Sharon? How do people get involved with your groups? Because I just heard you talk about some groups that you're having on specific topics. How do we get involved with you? You're amazing.
Well, I'm north of Seattle, so I'm the
Okay.
same time frame. And
Okay.
on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we're
Okay.
doing a loneliness to resilience membership community. It's free now. Eventually, I'm hoping that we can convert it to paying. And
Okay.
my first thought was just $5 a week or $5 a month or something. But we're slowly growing. I'm in my 7th month now.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can search on Facebook, loneliness to resilience. It comes right up. I'm also, my VA is doing a very good job of posting the announcements ahead of time on LinkedIn and Facebook. I think some of them might even be on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
does a marvelous job of creating interesting content around announcing who's going to be speaking. Next
Okay.
week, I have a gal coming in that is a strength finder through Gallup. Well, it's not Gallup. Anyway, it's a popular research company. And in fact, I think it was through them or MCOR where my profile was that I was an influencer. And I thought, are you kidding me? You've got that wrong. I'm sure you've got that wrong. I don't think that applies. But as I acted as if it might be true, I opened up to being willing to be a podcaster myself. And I do have about 26 shows on Spreaker.
Okay.
I have some probably about 20 on YouTube. So just Sharon Rolph at YouTube. And my website is simply SharonRolph.com. It's not as strong as I would like it to be, but you know, we're all growing. We're not
We're
perfect.
all growing and morphing and changing, but the more we keep doing what we're doing, people are attracted. I definitely, your messaging, Sharon, is one of hope and one where, you know, as a woman growing into my years, I'm really embracing everything and finding joy in things that seem mundane or maybe I didn't take time for in the beginning. So your work or your passion, because I see it as the way it just flies off of you. You're living into your passion. And when you live into your passion, you create this orb of joy around you, and people want to lean into it. I'm always surprised that when I'm traveling or I'm going somewhere and I sit down and people start talking to me about things that I wouldn't normally share with a total stranger, but it's that essence of, hi, fellow human, that I bet that happens to you too. That, because you give off this, you're safe. You're safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend I knew at 22, 24 years old that was going to my same church. And then like 50 years later, I ran into her at Boeing, and we recently reconnected, and come to find out her husband, second husband, he's 90 years old, was in the process of dying of cancer. And he did just die a couple weeks ago. But she mentioned to me, as one example, what you're saying was that when I talk to you, I feel uplifted, or I feel the joy. It's like a pill. I need that. and so I put it on my calendar every couple weeks on a Sunday afternoon to call her. And now I intend to go see her in her sorrow. But she loved her husband so much. They loved laughing and having people over and being warm. But one thing that I asked her one time, what does she want to be known for? And she was actually a ship captain, merchant marine for 20 years. And she was this short little 4'11" gal. And lots of people probably told her, you can't do that. But we've had a couple good conversations about that. So she definitely lived outside the box. So that's a side.
Do you see that that this space in life is something that women have to do to hurdle a little higher because of our the imaging that's been forced upon us, like, in our lives, where we're, as all supposed to step back, we're supposed to be, similar to how we were with children seen and not heard. And even though we've worked really hard as a women's movement, from the civil rights movement forward, especially, we're still finding that women have a tendency emotionally, when you talked about emotional intelligence, to emotionally not grasp that energy, that power. And I see it a lot more in this time, this 21st century, because I see the lack of focus and the lack of belonging in our young people, that even as an African American growing up in the 60s, I knew who I belonged to. I knew who I was. It may not have been cool, and it may have caused a lot of grief and turmoil, but I knew. And that's, I work with a lot of young people, and I find that they have more things and more exposure than, of course, I had, but yet they're living in despair at a time of such abundance. And I don't know, Sharon, what am I love talking to you. So what's your take on that? I just.
Well, I have a good grasp on my authenticity from a young age. I don't know where that came from other than God.
Uh-huh.
But I use the term kind of in a fun way, some people say, oh, you're outstanding. And I took it as, yeah, out, standing in a field. I struggled with feeling different a lot. Yeah. First of all, in my family, I was the only one that was a learner. I embraced learning. Okay. So even today, I don't know, I was with my two sisters over Easter, and we it's kind of natural to compare yourself to each other. But my one sister, she nearly died in September from passing out. She hadn't been eating, and she's got rheumatoid arthritis where her fingers are all over like this. But she has so much drama in her life with her 5 kids. And mostly her thoughts are negative. I went to visit her for a couple hours, and I had to mentally say that's her living her life and I'm living my life. And I try not to judge people.
Right.
And
right.
saying she's doing the best she knows how.
Right. Right.
So I'm different, but it's, I don't know. I think the schools are getting better about not comparing each other and accepting that they're different.
Yeah.
But to help you understand that, you've got red hair and I've got black hair, and we're different, but we're still very lovable. I hardly ever refer to myself as old. I think this last year I've maybe done that maybe 3 times, but of course I am blessed with good complexion. Actually, it started with the Wild Fit diet, where I was just having a green smoothie every day, and my face got to be like baby skin, such a clarity, and it sounds like all these things that make them fresh longer.
Oh, yeah.
But that's affecting our skin and our body too. Yeah, you have an orange that won't shrivel up and die for 3 months. And that's impacting our skin. Anyway, I want to also show you this one. Miracles come when we live in our heart. I
love that.
Time might be running out, but the living from your heart is starts with you loving yourself. I'm trying to love myself. It's easy to do it when you're laying in bed, to wrap your arms around yourself. And because I think God's potential and destiny that he instilled in us is still waiting to grow and to expand. And
I love you. I love you, Sharon. I can't wait to be in your neck of the woods to meet you in person someday, because I know it's coming down the road. Because you just said something that if we could get everyone to understand, and it has nothing to do, my friends, with your denominational faith. It has to do with that clear understanding. When you're positive, when you feed your body clean food.
I've never been in the hospital, never had cancer, never had diabetes. What's the other thing? Anyway.
What's the other thing?
No vaccines.
It just changes your metabolism. It changes, actually, I believe, it changes you back to where you should be. Right? Because I think we came into this world, like I said, every Thursdays with Nora, I'm writing the book, nothing but joy, nothing but laughter, nothing but playing with toys, nothing but getting up. Now check this out. I didn't even know this, Sharon. I was reading a health book about blue zones, and they were talking about being physical, blah, blah, blah. And one of the best things for an older person, for the lack of a better way, or an elder who is aging and in place, is when you get down, if you sit on the floor and you roll left to right and get up off the floor, if that becomes a practice, it's good for your core and your balance. Well, guess what's happening to me with Nora? Because she doesn't walk, she crawls. And so guess where I am the majority of Thursday? On the floor. And yesterday I was crawling with her because she was talking to me as she was crawling in baby talk, so I figured she had something to say. And joy in that, friends. That's what I'm saying. Letting your guard down, the guard that all your life told you had to wear. Like when I was working with teenagers, Sharon, I used to say to them, take your cool vest off because we're getting ready to be just people together. It's not about my age. It's not about my gender. It's not about my skin color. It's not about any of that. We're just going to be humans in this moment. And that's what Sharon Rolph is talking to you about, my friends. I want you to go to her website. Show us that your book again, because I need to get that.
Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment.
Okay. Fresh Courage in Retirement. Using the word, my friend, retirement to mean from whatever you've done for the long time, and now you're going to move into a new paradigm.
I have pictures throughout my book. I don't know that very many people do that with their book, but one of my favorite, and somehow it just tugs at my heart. It's a phrase at the end of a Bill Gaither song. May you feed the world through me.
Ooh.
It's a prayer.
Say it again, Sharon. May
you feed the world through me.
Wow.
I'll see if I can find it here. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention is Ephesians 3:16.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about your inner being, and that's where your soul is. You know, they have documented, science has documented that when you become a Christian, your DNA changes.
Oh, yes.
That now you're not captured with all the negative, you know, in the world, that now you're living from your heart, and that changes your inner being.
Yep.
Oh, so we're talking, there it is.
May you feed a hungry world through me. Wow. Wow.
That's what we're doing.
Yes.
That's what we're doing, Michelle.
Oh, Sharon. All right, my friends. You know, I could talk to Sharon. I'm going to have Sharon back. You know why? Because she just lifted my soul on a day when I was here and, you know, I'm trying to get Google Chrome to open. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you something here. I have two phones. I was trying to get into Zoom, and it was telling me that the password that I put in was wrong. So I had to rechange the password. And then I had to figure out whether or not I could get you guys that are watching this now on the phone while I had Sharon, and then I couldn't get it to happen. But never, ever, in that whole moment, and well, it's more than a moment, it was like 45 minutes, almost an hour, did I lose hope that I would talk to Sharon today.
It's just a test.
Yeah, and I finally was able to get her on, and so I messaged her right away, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's gone. I think she might be gone, and she wasn't. So this is what positive does for you. If Sharon was a negative person, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just telling you the reality, because I know, lived long enough to know this, she would have been gone. And she would have been mad at me or mad at the situation because this happened. No. Sharon Rolph has talked to us this morning, my friends, on Life is a Sacred Journey, and in the neighborhood and in our community. She's talked to us about this place that when we live in the positive realm, even, Sharon, you touched my heart deeply because you just said it. You said, even when people don't like you, because I'm living in a situation right now where I am a leader in this situation, and I know there are people around me that don't like me. I can feel it, because that's the other thing that happens when you become an open spirit. You feel it. Mm-hmm. But I'm learning to love them anyway. Wait a minute. I'm learning. My muscles hurt every single time I walk away from that situation. My muscles hurt, my body hurts, but I feel so good about myself that I didn't deep dive into thinking it was about me. Sharon, you just touched my heart.
Hearing that, yeah, I've been hearing that this eclipse that's happening soon is going to be a major change. I don't know in what way, but I keep hearing that it's very, very significant. And what us faithful believers that well, I keep hearing that. I've said many times, I'm the one who decides what stops me. And even though I'm struggling to, I decide what stops me. How many times have you been told you can't do certain things? Lots of things. That's their opinion. Watch me do it anyway.
Yeah.
So that steadfastness, and I think when it's your destiny, that's the secret of it being what you're meant to do. And that potential, all that free time in retirement is, I'm trusting, hoping, believing that the boomers will change the world because of what's inside of us. And as we show them their soul and DNA.
Yeah. And Sharon saying the boomers impacted the world so much. The silent generation, of course, did many, many things. And then the boomers came and we changed the world. We are the civil rights movement. We are the women's movement. We are technology. I mean, even though I fight it, we are the creators of that. So folks, now that you are retiring, or if you are retiring from whatever career that you had, Sharon Rolph is saying, don't retire to a chair. Don't retire to the nothingness, as they called it in the Never Ending Story. Don't go into the nothingness. Stay engaged and involved. Fresh courage. It's your time to shine. How can you not love my new friend, Sharon Rolph? I want you to go to her website, friends. She gave you the information, and then Felicia will put it down here. I also want you to know about her Wednesday group. It will be a group that she will monetize at some point in the near future. But no matter what the amount, creating a community of people who will help fuel you. Like they call it soul food, not the kind you get in the restaurant, but soul food. And I love that she talked about things like her book, Fresh Courage in Retirement. Let's get that. Let's support that. Living from Your Heart. Making an essence statement. I love that. Instead of it being a vision statement, I love essence statement. So write your essence statement.
Oh, here's what introduces you to my book. What makes me weird, and yet you love me, is I have picked up lots of near-death experiences. In fact, this statement up here is something that a lot of people come back from heaven with messages for us. And so I've imagined standing in heaven, kind of like these people have done, and feeling all the colorful fragrances, animals, just everything about heaven in every cell of my body. And then, how does it change here today? How does the essence of heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I believe knowing your essence and inner spark is heaven on earth.
I agree. I want to thank every person that the universe sends to Life is a Sacred Journey touches me and has become a part of my journey of life. And Sharon Rolph has just added to that. She's added to that. She's brought courage into me in a different way, into you. She's brought this whole idea of an essence statement, which that's like making me happy. I feel it. My DNA is resonant. It's moving. The atoms are moving inside of me. And then she's those wonderful, she loves to sew, she loves affirmations, and then she just keeps sharing that with something that's permanent, which I love, that she can also share in her public speaking and with others. Oh, she is a gem to you, my friends. Find her podcast. Join me in becoming a regular on her podcast, coming and giving her the numbers that she wants and needs, and then so she can monitorize and do the things that she's called to do. And you know what? It's going to happen because she's on the trajectory of her journey that was sort of boop, 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 put in. Yeah.
These are available on Etsy. They're one of a kind.
Okay.
And my store is called Quilted Petunia.
Oh, Sharon. Say it again. Her store on Etsy is
Quilted Petunia.
okay. So go to Etsy. I'll be going as soon as we leave this morning to order mine because I think they're amazing. And all the future women that come to my women's retreats, you're going to see them up close and personal. So, and get the book, Fresh Courage in Retirement. Even if you're not thinking about retirement, I think that educating our lives about our lives is that's a life journey. And that's something that Sharon dropped earlier in our interview, that she has been a life learner. That's the other thing. I'm always showing you a book that I've read or something. And my mother used to have a wonderful saying, Sharon, eat the meat and throw away the bones. Now, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat, but I understood what she meant. It meant stop looking at everything from a critical sense. Read, and what goes bim, bim. Transform failure into a learning experience. Oh, Sharon, I wish you lived on my block. But you do. You live on.
The learning process, often we are critical of ourselves more than anybody. And instead of being critical, that reflection part that I think we're really missing a lot is, what did I learn from that? How did I change? One of my good friends is a social worker. And when I moved out of town, there was a bunch of her friends all going out at the same time. And she started realizing how she was grieving and losing all these good stuff. Mm-hmm. And so she reflected on that trend and said, okay, I'm going to be the grief counselor for me and my niche that I serve. So she learned from her experience. Mm-hmm. We can all learn, because that's part of why we're here. We're growing through these experiences, even the experiences of Chrome going down.
That's right. That's right. And I did learn some new things. Just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. And Sharon was more important than me fighting with Chrome and trying to figure that out. I finally said, you know what, we'll tape it and we'll put it up just as we always do. And again, to those of you that text me, called me, wondering if I was okay, thank you. Thank you so much for caring about me, because that was genuine. And I just, thank you. I'm all right. I'm way all right. I'm all right now that I've spoken to Sharon Pulse this morning. She has lifted me up, and I know that when you go through this whole interview, you will be lifted as well. Get the book, Fresh Courage in Retirement. Go to the website. Go to the Etsy. Let's buy those things. Let's support each other, because that's what we're also here for to do. And in saying that, if you're a person that's going through depression, anxiety, and feeling as if you are invisible and you want to take your life, meaning commit suicide, I'm here to tell you, we all have felt that at some point in our lives for a variety of reasons. 988 is the suicide hotline number. And I really say to you, get a phone, get someone else's phone, get someone to call for you. But 988, there are people on the other line that will guide you to resources. They'll help you to have what you need to make it through that next moment in your life. I want you to know I've been there. I've been there more than once where I thought I was not worthy to live. And I am so thankful that there was somebody in my life that loved me and put their hand down and said, no, no, you're worthy. You're worthy. Sharon has said that to us for the last 45 minutes. You are worthy of this life. And even if it started off a little wonky, so you had people around you that didn't understand your value, see your shine. The people on 988 or at the end of that line will help you to rekindle and find your path. Don't take your life. We need you because you're not invisible. You matter. Yes. So have a good weekend, people. Go out, hug a tree, pet a cat, pet a dog. And as Sharon said, hug yourself every day and look in the mirror and say, I love it. Come up with an essence statement. I love Sharon's essence statement, but it's an I statement about I value me. I am. I am. So thank you for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey. We love you so much. Give a round of applause wherever you are, whenever you hear this, to Sharon Rolph, my brand new wonderful friend and somebody who is creating love in the world, and we need more of it. So go out and be the change you want to see, because it really does begin with you. Okay.